Testing. All right, guys. Wait. We need to still wait for those 5 seconds. 10 seconds. Let's see what's going on. Good morning. Good morning. Top of the morning to you. It's kind of chilly this morning. Had a lot of that dew on the car windows and mirrors, which is kind of dangerous. You want to try to get some of that stuff off. And as we were busing it to school, the workers had a whole street sectioned off, which meant that we had to go through a detour. But luckily, they were super nice about putting signs up. So we followed the orange signs, and we found the detour and found a way to the school, which is awesome. I mean, at the very least, you know, they blocked off a whole street, and they did a really good job. We found it. I think the only thing they could have done, which they didn't do, was add a very last sign, but most people wouldn't need the last sign, just the dyslexic people like me. Because it should be obvious that if you turn right and you find yourself at the same place where you started, you should go left to go to your destination. But luckily, I was not stupid enough to just go out that way and find myself in the same spot where it all began. In which case, you'd have to do the entire detour and find yourself back at the same spot. Don't do that. Don't do that. Look around, just like in, what is it? Look around, be happy that we're alive, or something like that. Anyway, there's a play. If you haven't seen Hamilton, look around before you make that final right turn. Don't make a left turn, and then keep going straight, and you'll find yourself at your correct destination. Toilets. Yeah, I know. The title was not misleading. Don't worry. I didn't try to clickbait you into something that was not going to happen today. I do have a toilet seat with me. She's all tucked in. She's a little bit heavy. I'm trying hard not to drive and run into school kids. You know, that's probably not safe. So later, when I stop the car, I'll pull her out, or at the traffic light where it's safe, I'll pull her out and you guys can see the toilet seat. Well, you can see the toilet seat cover for starters, because that's how the adventure began. I was planning to just change out the toilet seat because it was kind of rickety. Horrible thing was the old one, the one that was on the toilet for possibly like 10 or 15 years, was great. And then I replaced it with another one. Not this one, okay? This is a different brand or whatever. I got this from Lowe's. This was not an elongated toilet. The one that we currently have apparently is not the regular style. It's elongated. So it's, and the thing that I got there was the wrong one. So that does not fit as a toilet seat. It's just not long enough. So it's kind of like those rounded ones, the standard ones. For some reason, when whoever put the original toilet in the house didn't think of putting the standard stuff. They thought, oh, we'll just put an elongated one. I don't know. Is it better? Is it more comfortable? I have no idea. But whatever, they did that. So anyhow, so the other one, when I replaced the old one with the newer one, the issue was that it had some crappy kind of like plasticky covering over it, and it lasted less than a year, I would say. It started peeling off. So don't buy those. Those are horrible. Just buy your regular run-of-the-mill wooden ones, or if there are plastic, make sure that they don't have some kind of sheen or whatever, film coating, whatever, because that thing comes off and it's horrible. It's horrible. Don't buy that for yourselves. It only lasts maybe a year or so, and then, you know, especially if you have young children, they find it to be interesting, so they use their nails to poke it off, and then it starts looking disgusting, and it feels horrible on your legs when you sit on it. Yay! The things you know, well, the things you discover through experience sometimes are not that fun. So anyway, long story short, I was only planning to change the seat out, but the boss says, no, you gotta change out the whole toilet. So I'm gonna go out and check and see about wax plugs. Now, in the beginning, I thought, you know, maybe I could just get some of that earwax, but no, they're very big, and they go and they seat themselves underneath the entire toilet unit, so you need one of those, and possibly more than one, because if you screw up the job the first time, you might have to redo the whole thing. So you might think that's fun, but personally, I don't think it's that fun. Anyway, so they say also that it might be easier to do this whole process if you remove the tank from the general toilet, because that makes it lighter. But this is an very old toilet, so I don't know whether that's going to be a possibility. So anyway, going to Lowe's to return a toilet seat, and potentially coming home with a whole new toilet. It's going to be a whole new toilet, a whole new world, and hopefully I won't screw up the placement, because otherwise you'll either get the toilet leakage from underneath the toilet, which is not flattering, or the other possibility would be that I would just have to call a plumber, and I don't particularly want to do that because it's expensive, and these days California is just squeezing every last penny out of you. So yeah, land of the free, land of the opportunity. Yes, America used to be the land of opportunity. Now it's the land of, let me see your credit score. You want to buy a car? You want to buy a house? You better have a good credit score, because everything is everything has gatekeepers these days. Everything. You know, in the old days, you just walked off a boat, and if you were hardworking, willing to do whatever it took, you'd find a job within a few days. You know, whether it was in construction or, you know, at the harbor or whatever it was, selling pizzas. It's not like that anymore. Now you need a certification for everything. So America is not America. It's just not. And that's one of the fights that I had with my dad, like over and over, after I graduated from university here in the US. It was like, well, Dad, it's not like it was in the old days. It's not enough to have a resume. You don't just show up at a building, you know? You don't just show up at a building like you could do in the past. Say, I heard this company's looking for jobs. You just show up with a suit and your resume, and you just talk to a couple of people, and then if you, you know, you're well-shaved and willing to work, and you have at least some of the things that they're looking for, they'll just hire you on the spot. That's not how America works anymore. So if you thought you were going to have your American dream like it was in the old days, just not climb a boat, but just get on a boat and sail over to America, or get on a plane and come here. That's just not how it works. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into becoming a U.S. citizen. Not to mention, I mean, it was already pretty hard back in the day, and when my parents came here, because they needed a company to sponsor them and become American citizens with the green card thing. But now there's so many things, so many hoops that you need to jump into that in some ways it's easier to go to Europe it's easier to go to China. They have less hoops for you to jump through. I mean, here it's like the credit score thing. It's a serious business. If your credit is bad, you can't get a loan. I mean, you might be able to open a bank account, but you know, if your credit is bad, I'm not sure how much money you have. So anyway, this is a toilet seat. Now that it's safe, I can show it to you properly. But this is standard. So this is what standard toilets have. The one that I am planning to replace is elongated. I don't think it matters for the actual unit on the bottom. I don't know, maybe those are all standard too, but I may end up having to purchase a whole elongated toilet today to replace. And, you know, it's going to be one of those break your legs, you know, swallow a seal. No, I'm just kidding. Don't swallow a seal. You'll choke on it. And as a vegan, I can't possibly recommend that. Anyway, so there we go. There we go. So America, the land of opportunity. It's not. What it is America, the land of do-it-yourself. So, I'm not a licensed plumber, but I'm going to have to do this. Just like I had to replace a bunch of plugs in the house to make sure that they were to code, because the new codes require you to have a little button on it so that if anything happens, there's a little fuse that pops for bathrooms and a bunch of things. So, yeah. So since I've come to the United States, I've learned how to do a bunch of things on the car because, you know, sometimes you can't afford to, you know, do stuff and bring it to a technician. Sometimes you got to fix your electric stuff. Even if you're not an electrician, you still got to do what you got to do. Changing out your light bulbs or whatever, changing out plugs if you need to. Maybe your fan went crazy, so you have to unplug bits and pieces of your fan so it doesn't go nuts, or, you know, all kinds of stuff. You basically have to know how to do a bunch of the plumbing on the inside of the thing, but I didn't expect that somebody would ask me to do an entire toilet replacement. So that's new. That's new for me. I've had to do grout for a thing because there was a tile. No. Anyway, yeah. So there was a tile that was wobbling in the bathroom. I had to replace that, so I had to figure out how to remove a tile and then put grout to keep it in place. So that was another thing I had to do. Lots of stuff. So I'm probably going to put you off wanting to come to live in America and try to live the American dream now. But it's true. Make sure that you have an amazing credit score before you come to America, because otherwise you will not find it easy. Well, I mean, you could still come to America, and again, I can't recommend this because I like to be law-abiding. But, you know, recently it's easier to come to America and be non-law-abiding and do a bunch of other stuff. But then if you ever decide at some point that, you know, you want to become law-abiding and stuff, then it'll be difficult because you're going to have a criminal record and stuff. So it's hard enough as a non-criminal to live in America in the modern world, but, you know, if you ever wanted to become a non-criminal, oh boy. So anyway, are you planning to move to China now? Are you planning to move to Europe? Are you planning to move? Hey, you know what? The Africans right now, because they don't have like crazy drone laws. They're like laughing at the Americans, going, those stupid Americans. If they want to fly a drone, they need a Part 107. Snicker. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. America and its laws and its gatekeeping and its excessive regulation is turning us into a third world country. So, yeah. Third world countries, not so third world countries anymore. Anyhow. So some countries have it better than the Americans now. And guess what? They thought, right? Remember Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton, and a bunch of others. Remember how they escaped King George, right? They escaped the ways of Europe. Well now, those people from the grave are not laughing. They're not laughing. They're crying. They're basically crying so hard, saying this is not the America that we were, you know, the forefathers. The founding fathers, the founding fathers, the ones that wrote the good old scripts that everybody is fighting over. They're crying so hard because they're turning around in their graves, going like, what in the heck did you guys do to the America that we fought so hard to build? Yeah. Are you guys still free in America? I don't know. It's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good. Anyway. Don't look at me. I never voted. It's your fault. It's your fault. Claim responsibility, please. Claim responsibility. You're the ones who went out and voted. You did it. Anyway, you're the ones who went to court and disturbed the peace. Anyway, I'll see you guys. Enjoy your lives. I've got toilets to replace. Thanks.